Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we're going through 5 knives that you should absolutely try, starting with this knife, which is back in stock, and they lowered the price back down to the original price. If you don't know, this is the MAXACE Black Mirror, and it's an M390 steel titanium frame lock, and I had it linked to Blade HQ. Then they raised the price like $40. Well, now it's back down to $142 for this version, $148 for the carbon fiber inlay version. So awesome price. This is a great value, like an incredible value, especially for the build quality. Now, as far as the heat treat on the M390 goes, I'm sure it's not up to par with the best, but you know, I'm sure it's about equal to a lot of other companies' M390. So the price is still really good. And the action is amazing. This thing really surprised me in a lot of ways. So one, the whole deployment is just absolutely amazing. Two, look at that access to the lock bar. Now that is how they should be done. So much access. Great sharpening tool and plunge grind. In the hand, it is very comfortable, and even in a reverse grip, which you wouldn't think so because of this tapering handle, even in a reverse grip, you can see how the blade is still angled towards me a little bit, so if I need to cut straps, it's going to work comfortably. The drop is very smooth on the ceramic caged bearings and ceramic detent. The clip works great. Yeah, this thing is just a winner all the way around, and for $148 or $142, like, it's incredible. But for that price, it is hard to beat. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is by PMP, and these are back in stock as well. And this is the PMP User 2. Comes in lots of different colors, but it's just a sleek, good-looking knife. Great front flipping action. Again, great access to the lock bar. I like how they did this, how they poked it out a little bit, and it's very comfortable to disengage. The blade is very light, but man, it is. And at least on mine, it's fall shut action. And you can do the reach over. The detent is great. The titanium frame lock is slim and extremely, it almost feels like it's aluminum or something. It's so light. And that's because they have heavy milling on the inside. The wire clip does move a little bit, but it is a wire clip, so wire clips do work very well. Oh yeah, also I forgot to say, S90V steel. S90V. So that is awesome. I love S90V. In my opinion, it does best with a medium grit edge. And but you know, I have sharpened S90V with a mirror polish, and it did pretty good. But I think the medium grit to toothy edge is gonna serve it a little bit better. Anyways, good ergonomics, very lightweight. Like I said, it's gonna be a very useful blade shape, and like I said, very slim, sleek, and very lightweight. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is by PMP, and this is the Berserker, the PMP Berserker. Now, this thing is an absolute monster. If you're into big knives, this thing's pretty cool. It's pretty badass. The flipping action is great. They tuned it very well, even for such a heavy blade, because this is thick. This is not your mega slicer. This is definitely hard use, thick behind the edge. You know, you're going to be able to be a little bit tougher on the edge on this knife. I like how they did the sharpening notch. I can always replace that if I want to. The lock bar access is really good. Very smooth on the drop. The jimping on the flipper tab is the exact type of jimping I love. It's nice and grippy. It almost grabs you back. And yeah, it's a nice comfortable flipper too. Very easy to flip. Now, the fuller is not usable. It does tuck itself away in the handle. The clip does work good. Titanium milled pocket clip and backspacer. Ergonomically, it's a beast. So it's very comfortable. You know, you can use it in the reverse grip. The pinch grips are going to work good, and this Tonto is going to make it to where you can use the secondary edge or the primary, because if you look, it clips down. So the tip drops down to a point to where you can use it comfortably and easily if you wanted to. But yeah, it is a beast of a knife, but that's also what's cool about it. It is badassery all the way around. Next is a gravity knife. Now I threw this on the list because yes, there's the Riet EXO, but a lot of people forget that the USA has a gravity knife too, and that would be the Paragon Warlock. So this is a USA made knife, S30V blade steel, comes in many different options, different colors, different blade shapes, different blade grinds. This is the double-edged dagger with I don't know what this is called, but whatever it's called. This pattern that's in the center of the blade. There's also ones that do not have that in the center of the blade. I did hear that those can be a little bit smoother on the way in, back in. When you go like this and you go back in, sometimes this one can catch if you right there, if you let go of the button early. But I've gotten really good at using this where, no, then I fumble it. That all you gotta do is just squeeze this, keep your hand away from the bottom, and flip it. Or swing it. So it does work really good. And the body is an aluminum handle. And the one complaint I do have is I'm not a big fan of the clip, but the action is really good. And when it is all the way deployed, when you're squeezing it, it's very solid. So you squeeze these things, the scales together. Now, if I let go, I can wiggle it if I really muscle it. But as soon as I add any sort of pressure, it is rock solid. So very cool. But even with the little bit of flexing, when you're letting go and you're going like this from down here, that still isn't gonna, it's not gonna fail the knife. The knife's not gonna just fail. These scales have to come all the way apart in order for it to swing down. So it's a safe gravity knife that does take a little bit of practice, but once you get it down, it is awesome. And last is the Winter Blades Mirage. Now this is somewhat of 3 knives in one. What do I mean? Well, it is an automatic, an assisted, and a manual knife all in one. It uses magnetic lock, which this lock strength, this thing is so solid. I cannot express how solid this lock is and how strong this lock feels. It has magnets acting as a detent, as you can see, and also there's a magnet that's also pushing the blade, so if I pull the lock down, it will deploy like an automatic. Now I have to have it angled down a little bit because if I have it pointing straight up, the pressure's not enough to overcome or to bring it the whole way. With a little flick to the wrist you can do it, but just angling it a little bit down, it will deploy the whole way. Now when you deploy it manually, you don't even notice that has that little kick. It's just having a unique action because when you close it, you barely have to put any effort into it to close it and get past that, what you would call a magnetic assist. So, but it does actually have the magnetic assist. But you can literally go all day and never even notice that's happening because of how manual it feels. But at any moment, you can take advantage of it because if you just barely flick it, this thing will open. M390 blade. Beautiful satin finish. I love the sharpening tool and plunge grind, done extremely well. The handle is titanium with carbon fiber liners, which make this extremely light yet very strong. Ergonomically, it's extremely comfortable in the hand, regardless of what direction or what grip you are holding it in. And man, it's just Brian Winters, man, he does magic, and it's amazing what he's able to do. And I have to say that this is just a knife people have to experience. And I know they're tough to get, but experiencing one of the Winter Blades knives, it's a completely unique experience with knives. And this one's even different than the Factor. So they're just, they're just a little bit different in how they're executed and the way they the way the action is, the way they act, the way they respond. Now, they both have this strong magnetic lock, which I'm so surprised how strong this thing is. Like, I've muscled this thing, and like I don't get even a hint of play. So yeah, and while it being extremely, extremely smooth. So very, very cool. And like I said, this is definitely one people need to try. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.